A customer is long 2XYZ June 120 puts at 6 when the market price of XYZ is 118. The price of the stock declines to 95 and the customer exercises the put. What is the gain or loss on this stock transaction? What is the maximum possible loss? And what is the break-even point? This customer is the holder or buyer of the put and therefore pays out the premium. The premium is $6 per share times 200 shares for a total payout of $1,200. When the customer exercises this option, he or she sells the stock at the strike price, $120, and can buy it back in the market at $95. That's a gain on the stock transaction of $25 times 200 shares for a total gain of $5,000. But remember, the customer paid out premiums of $1,200. So this leaves the customer of a net gain of $3,800, $5,000 minus $1,200. So what is this customer's maximum possible loss? Well, if the market price of XYZ goes up, then the customer will not exercise this put and they will lose the premium they paid, $1,200, $6 a share times 200 shares. And what is this customer's break-even point? That is equal to the strike price, 120, minus a premium of 6. The break-even point is therefore $114. Remember, in this case, the customer has paid out the premium. They break even when they make back the $6, and that would occur with a put when the market price is going down. Put down the phone. A customer shorts 2XYZ November 50 puts at 7. The price of XYZ declines to 30 and the customer is exercised. What is the gain or loss on this transaction? What is the customer's maximum possible gain? And what is the customer's break-even point? In this case, this is the writer or seller of the put. They sold the right for somebody else to buy stock from them at the strike price. This person receives the premium. The premium on the option is $7 per share times 200 shares. So the customer receives a total of $1,400, $1,400. When this option is exercised, the writer or seller is forced to buy the stock at the strike price, which is 50. They can only sell it in the marketplace for 30. So that's a loss of $20 on the stock transaction times 200 shares for a total loss of $4,000. Remember that this customer has received premiums of $1,400, therefore the customer is left with a net loss of $2,600. What is the maximum possible gain for the writer of an uncovered put? Remember that if the market price goes up, this put will not be exercised, and the writer will get to keep the premium they received. So the maximum possible gain is $1,400 for the writer of a put. And what is the break-even point for the writer of this uncovered put? It is equal to the strike price 50 minus the premium of 7. So the break-even point is 43. This is always stated per share. Remember, the writer of a put receives the premium. Therefore, he or she is breaking even when they lose that money, the premium. And with a put, they will lose the premium when the market price of the underlying security goes down below the strike price. So the strike price minus the premium. A customer sells short 200 shares of XYZ at 75 and writes to XYZ January 60 put at 4. The market price of XYZ declines to 40 and the customer is exercised. What is the gain or loss on this transaction? What is the customer's maximum possible loss? And what is the break-even point? This is an example of a covered put. The customer is short the stock and the customer has written a put against the short position. In this case, the writer of a put takes in the premium. The total premium received is $800, $4 per share times 200 shares. When the market price of the security drops and the option is exercised, the writer of the put is obligated to buy the underlying securities at the strike price, which is 60. But the customer doesn't have to go out and sell it at the market. Why? Because the customer has already sold short the price of the stock at 65. That means the customer has a $5 profit when he or she is forced to buy the stock at the strike price of 60. $5 profit times 200 shares means that on the stock transaction, the customer has a total profit of $1,000. Remember that the customer has already received the premiums of $800. This means that the customer's net gain on the transaction is $1,800. What is the customer's maximum possible loss? It is unlimited. Why? Because the customer is short the stock. It's important here to remember that the Options Clearing Corporation does not allow a short stock position to cover the writer of a put because of the unlimited potential risk. So what's the customer's break-even point? Remember, this is a combined question. If the customer in one hand is short the stock and you lose money on a short stock position when the price goes up, the customer has also written a put and taken in premiums of $4 per share times 200 shares. So when would the customer lose the premiums received on this combined position? When the value of the stock goes up. So the break-even point is equal to the short sale price of the stock plus the premium. In this case, 65 plus 4, the break-even point is 69. Now what I want you to do is honing this information. I have built an incredible application. It's the first of its kind, and I've done a lot of research looking for something similar. And nobody has ever created something quite like this. So I consider myself the inventor of the CLEC Options Calculator. And if you go over to millionairesintraining.com, hover over our apps and tools, and click the option that says Options Calculator. It will allow you to plug in any scenario, whether you're the holder or writer of either a call or a put, allow you to put in the premium and other inputs you will need to answer options questions. It will then generate you a real-time options question and generate you the break-even point, the strike price, and the maximum possible gain, maximum loss for each scenario depending on what you input into the question. So I also want to encourage you to do our simulated exams on millionairesintraining.com and refine your knowledge by using the question bank and test yourself in different ways. I encourage you to really go through this information until it sticks. And try and get 80s or 90s on each of the sub-chapter exams, final exams, and midterm and final exams on each of the question banks on Millionaires in Training to make sure you really hone this information. Get high scores. You should be able to 100% options before taking your exam. I look forward to seeing you in the upcoming videos. You're doing fantastic moving right along. I'll see you in the next video.